This is question 7, 2024 Higher Level Maths Junior Cert paper. Two triangular solids, cube A and cuboid B, are shown in the diagram below, not to scale. The edges of cube A have length x centimeters, where x is real. Cuboid B has dimensions 5, 6 and y centimeters. The volume of A is 216 centimeters cubed. Find the value of x. Okay, so what you've got to do here is look at the volume of a cube. It's just going to be x times x times x, which is just x cubed. So x cubed is equal to 216. X then is just going to be the cube root of 216. So x is equal to 6 centimeters. 6 times 6 times 6 will give you 216. Okay, show that the surface area of B is 22y plus 60 centimeters squared. So let's work out the surface area of B. The surface area is the area of each face doubled, because there are two of each of the faces. One at the front, one at the back, one at the right, one at the left, one on the top, one on the bottom. So if we look at the one at the front first, so just this face here is going to be y times 5. So we've got to do surface area is equal to 5 times y, and we've got to double that because there's one at the back as well. Plus, let's look at this side here, which is just going to be 5 times 6. So there's a face here and there's one on the other side here as well. So it's going to be 5 times 6, and we've got to double that as well. And then finally we have the one on the top here and there's one on the bottom, so it's going to be y times 6. This is 6 along here, this is y along here. So y times 6, and we've got to double that. Y times 6. So when you do all of that, you get 2 5s 10y plus 5 6s 30, 2 30s 60. Here we have 6y times 2, so that's 12y. Now when you simplify that, you've got a 10y plus 12y, that's 22y, we put it in brackets, plus 60, and that's centimeters squared because we're talking about area. That's what they asked us to do. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. The surface area of B is 269 centimeters squared. Work out the value of y. Well, we know that 22y plus 60 must be equal to 269. So all we've got to do is solve for y. So 22y is equal to, just subtract 60 from both sides. That gives you 209 on this side. And then divide by 22 on both sides, and you get 9.5 centimeters. So that's y. Now this one here, the area of three faces of a different cuboid are shown on the diagram below, not to scale. The dimensions of this cuboid are L, M and P, where L, M and P are all whole numbers. Work out the volume of the cuboid, give your answer in cubic centimeters. Okay, so let's just write down what we have. We know that volume is going to be length times width times height. So let's say L times M times P in this case. Doesn't really matter what order you put them in because multiplication is commutative anyway. 96 is M times L. So if we take L and multiply it by M, that'll give us 96 square centimeters, because the area of this face here is the length here, if you like, times the width, L times M. So let's do this side here. 32 is going to be equal to P times L. So 32 is going to be P times L, or L times P is equal to 32 centimeters squared. And then we have the one on the top here as well, which is 48. That's going to be M times P. So M times P is equal to 48 centimeters squared. So really what we've got to do is look at these three equations to work out what L, M and P are. So the first thing I'm going to do here is look, I'll mark the three of them. This is equation 1, equation 2 and equation 3. I'm going to take equation 1 and I'm just going to rearrange it. So equation 1 just tells me that L is going to be equal to 96 over M. So all I did was divided this side by m, divide this side by m here. So now I have L is equal to 96 over m. So what I'm going to do then is put that into equation 2. So I'm going to take equation 2 now, and I'm going to put that in instead of L. So I'm going to have 96 over m times p is equal to 32. Now the reason I did that is because I now have an equation with p and m in it, and I can see that the third equation has a p and an m in it as well. So what I can do is just rearrange that in terms of m or p. I'm going to rearrange it in terms of p. So I'm going to say p is equal to 32. Now this is multiplied. That 96 over m is multiplied. So what I've got to do is divide both sides by 96 over m. So to divide by a fraction, what you've got to do is flip it upside down and multiply. So I'm going to multiply by m over 96. So now I've got p is equal to 32 times m over 96. So let's see, what will I do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this p here, or this p here if you like, and I'm going to stick it in here into equation 3. So let's work on that. So this is equation 3 now. This will allow me work out what m is. So if I take equation 3, I've got m times p, I'll just write it down, m times p equals 48. Now I have p here, I've worked it out, so I'm going to just write down m times 32 times m over 96 is equal to 48. This is equation 3 then. I've just substituted p in here. Now I have an equation with just m in it, so I can work out what m is. So let's work on that. So m times m is, because this is over 1, remember, so we multiply the top by the top, the bottom by the bottom. So it's going to be 32 m squared over 96 equals 48. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that fraction. I'm going to multiply both sides by 96. That'll leave me with 32m squared on the left hand side and 4608 on the right hand side. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide across by 32. That 32 is multiplied by the m squared. So I'm going to divide 4608 by 32. That gives me 144. Now, all we've got to do now is just square root both sides. So if I square root the left hand side, I'll get m. If I square root the right hand side, I'll get plus or minus 12. But we can't have a negative distance, so it's going to be 12 centimeters. I now know what m is. So up here I can write down m is equal to 12. I've just got to work out now what p and l are. So let me just do that over here. So I have m is equal to 12. So I can take an equation with m in it up here. Let's take this one here. M times p equals 48. So this is equation number 3. I'm just going to take m times p. Well, 12 times p equals 48. Just divide both sides by 12. So that gives me p is equal to, and 48 divided by 12 is 4. So p is equal to 4. So I can put that in here. Now I've just got to work out, what's the other one, L then. I've just got to work out what L is. So let's see if we can find an equation with L in it. Well, I've got L times P equals 32. Or let's use the first one, we haven't used that one yet. L times M equals 96. L times M equals 96. So this is equation number 1. So let me just stick in what I know. I know that M is 12, so I can put 12 in here, times L is equal to 96. So again, just divide across by 12, and that gives you L is equal to 8 centimeters. So I can put in 8 here. Okay, so now I can work out my volume. So the volume is just going to be 8 times 12 times 4, so that'll give me finally 384 centimeter cubed. This is my answer here. This is the volume. This is the volume of this particular cuboid up here. That's what we're asked. Work out the volume of the cuboid, give your answer in centimeters cubed. So that's it for this question.